Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, the free and
Thank you, Judy, and thank you, Point Loma Color Guard. Senior Chief Duran will now deliver the invocation.
Please bow your heads in prayer with me. Heavenly Father, we come before you this morning asking that you bless this ceremony today. In the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 20, Jesus said, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them." So with that promise, we ask for your presence this morning, that your Spirit would fill us with encouragement, joy, and that we join all in celebration on one accord as our brother in Christ transitions to a new phase and a whole new experience of your good choosing. Thank you for allowing all the friends, family, and shipmates to join together here as we honor Brent's service. We're thankful that you have allowed us to celebrate 24 years of sacrifice and service to this great nation. Lord, help us this day to understand and reflect on the sacrifices that have been made. Fill us with joy, but even more so, gratitude for what our shipmate has done for us, our Navy, and our nation. Fill the speakers with love and wisdom, that you may impart a gift on us today. We ask these things in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Senior Chief. Guests, please be seated. Good afternoon. We are gathered here today to witness the final stage in a very full and productive 24-year military career. We're also gathered to say thank you to a great shipmate. Thank you for his many contributions in which their own unique way have made our Navy a stronger and more capable force in our never-ending fight for peace. Thank you for his many dedicated hours and personal initiative that have helped to make the United States Navy the proud professional organization that it is today. Thank you for being the type of leader that has ensured the next generation of fire controlmen are ready to meet the challenges of tomorrow. Just as this is the end of one phase in his life, it is the beginning of another. So our gathering today also gives us the opportunity to wish him every success in the future as he looks forward to new challenges and rewards. We extend an especially warm welcome to Chief Herron's parents, Mother, Mrs. Gail Hamilton, Father and Mother-in-law, Mr. and Mrs. Robert Herron, Brother Sean, and Aunt Carolyn Elders. I know that you, more than any of us, know the sacrifices that Chief Herron has made in the service of our country, and I speak for the entire command when I say how pleased we are to have you here today. I would like to introduce today's first speaker, Lieutenant Junior Grade Timothy Holland, System Test Officer, Combat Systems Department, USS Carl Vinson, CVN 70. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce Lieutenant Holland.
Good afternoon, Herron family, friends, can you hear me? Herron family, friends, guests, and shipmates. I'm incredibly happy to have been invited to the celebration of continuance to celebrate FCC Herron's incredible Navy career. Sit back for a few moments while I try to do justice to the sailor's incredible journey. He was born in Evanston, Illinois. Brent L. Herron grew up in Woodstock, Illinois, where he graduated from Woodstock High School, home of the Blue Streaks, and graduated in 1988. Back then, in his 1979 Green Ford LTD, the cassette collection would have featured Living Color, Cult of Personality, Tracy Chapman, Fast Car, Jane's Addiction, Jane Says, and Guns N' Roses' Sweet Child of Mine. There were jobs he held prior to joining the Navy. There was his job working at Chop Suey Hut, the only Chinese restaurant in town, as a dishwasher. Excuse me. And with his father in the construction business. 6 months after graduating from high school, he entered the U.S. Navy and attended recruiting training in Orlando, Florida, which is closed. Okay. All right, just putting it out there. Upon completion of basic training, he then was transferred to Great Lakes because he was homesick, where he then attended Fire Controlman A School and Close-In Weapons C School, which we're just now getting on board. So what is a fire controlman, you may be asking yourself? Fire controlman functions as O-level repair facility, basically for our ship and a various weapon systems. Close-in weapon system, NATO Sea Sparrow. We have the RAM airframe missile system and the VLS system, which is not on board, but I know he has on his cruisers. And encompass all Navy platforms. They're on carriers, cruisers, everything that we have in the fleet. You need a fire controlman to operate. They ensure the CO and his watch team can track and gauge all kinds of targets and any enemies that are out there trying to harm us. They ensure the battle watch captain can interpret, evaluate all naval forces, tactical situations, and make recommendations for tactical employment of weapon systems and safe flight of aircraft. All right, let's start a little bit on your career. Oh, you can't hear me? It's too far out. You hear me now? All right. All right, let's start with FC3 Herron. FC3 Herron's first duty session was the USS Nashville, LPD 13. He reported there October 1990, where he was assigned as a work center supervisor for 3rd Division. While stationed there, he was responsible for the maintenance of 2 Mark 15 Mod Vulcan Phalanx mounts. This is where he earned his enlisted surface warfare pin and was advanced to FC2. In June of 1995, he transferred. His follow-on assignment was at Fixieland, Dam Neck, Virginia, where he was an instructor. He was an instructor for the CWIS system, the Mark 15 Mod 11. During the tour, he qualified as the MTS, which is a Master Training Specialist, and he transferred from that command in July of 1998. He continued to be a superior performer and was assigned to the rolling airframe Mark 31 guided missile system operator and maintenance course on the command where he recently was attached, Fixieland, Dam Neck, Virginia. with following orders to the USS Germantown, LSD 42. He works as a supervisor on board, and he also advanced to FC1 on board of that ship. He did a hull swap with the USS Harper's Ferry in September of '01 and transferred December of '02. Chief Herron never missed a beat. He picked up where he left off and did a great things in support of USS O'Brien, DD 975, or at the Center for Surface Combat Systems in San Diego. During his tour, he was promoted to the rank of Chief Petty Officer. I continue this nostalgic trip down this road and let you know the great things about Chief Herron and what he did aboard the USS Shiloh also. But you did get the picture. He has done everything. He's been on a lot of ships and has recorded greatness everywhere he's been. So that brings me to his current command, USS Carl Vinson. Where I initially met Chief Herron, I was his DIVO, which I am currently now, and I had some great conversations with Chief Herron. He always has some great comments to make about various situations that the ship is going through, or that I'm going through. Some of them bring a smile to your face, some of them kind of make you a little bit angry, but that's Chief Herron. We all know that how Chief Herron is. He's quick-witted, we all know that, and he's very direct. So if I'm wrong at any time, he tells me if he doesn't feel like something is right. So I respect that about him. He holds people accountable. He's one of those incredible chiefs or officers. What's up? Okay, thought you had something to say. All right, let me go ahead and wrap this up. I got a couple more paragraphs for you, but it's a lot of information up here. So that was 9 different commands during his tour, during his 24 years in the Navy. Now most of us, I've been at 5, but he's already been at 9 in 24 years. So you guys sitting in these positions over here, you're his replacement. So one of you guys, fire controlman, will be sitting here where Chief Herron is right now. You got to take the watch for Chief Herron. FCC, my personal thanks to you for training the sailors along with me and being steadfast, technically strong. And you, along with the other members of CS7, have etched a legacy of impressive and confident technicians. So know that your legacy will live on through your sailors. I wish you and your family the very best for your future, and I have every confidence that you will excel in whatever you endeavor to do. Job well done. Fair winds for the following seas. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Holland. I would like to introduce today's guest speaker, Sonar Technician Master Chief Mike Newlett. Master Chief Petty Officer Newlett is the Senior Enlisted Leader, Naval Mine and Anti-Submarine Command, headquartered at Naval Base Point Loma, Naval Mine and Anti-Submarine Warfare Command Complex, San Diego, California. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce Master Chief Mike Newlett.
Good afternoon, family and friends, waterfront leaders, and shipmates. Welcome and thank you for coming. Today is indeed a very special day, and I'm pleased that so many of you can be here to share on the occasion of saying thank you for 24 years of dedicated service to our great Navy and nation. Although I do not go back very far with Chief Herron, in fact, I met Chief Herron on our tour on board USS Shiloh in Yokosuka, Japan 4 years ago. I'm very honored that he asked me to be his main speaker, and it's hard for me to express the honor and pride I feel standing here in front of you today. Events like these are always more special when shared with family, close friends, and shipmates. Father Bob and stepmother Joanne Herring, Mother Gare Hamilton, Brother Sean Herring, and Aunt Carolyn Elders, it's great you're here with us. Bob and Gail, you instilled in Brent the morals and values that have defined him throughout his career. So we thank you for your support, and you have our utmost admiration. Brother Sean and Aunt Caroline, it's fantastic you could be here today. So much of a sailor's success is the Navy rides on the support of our families provide. So it's absolutely fitting you join us, and I know it means the world to Brent. We gathered to pay special tribute and celebrate the 24-year career of Chief Petty Officer Brent Herring, sailor, loyal shipmate, friend, and devoted father. I would be remiss if I didn't try to briefly capture what it's like to serve with Brent and what it meant to the rest of us. Brent's easygoing demeanor, yet determined approach to life have inspired everyone around him, and he always treats others like he would want to be treated, with dignity, fairness, and respect. When you work with Brent, you realize that he loves his job and his shipmates, and it shows every day. One of the most likable people you ever meet, he truly understands that our shipmates, the friends we choose, and the relationships we cultivate with them are the real treasures in life. I hope you remember that there are many stories I could have told today, but didn't. After all, you do get to speak last, but I will say this. When Brent first checked on board Shiloh, he was shy, reserved, and concerned. It took him almost a year before he showed us what the real Brent was like. You see, once Brent warmed up, he was always available and approachable. He mentored sailors ship-wide, consistently making a significant impact on standards, command climate, material, and personal readiness. His humor in stressful times in the high op tempo of a forward deployed cruiser helped maintain our sanity and helped to make our Chief's Mess a family and one of the best I've ever served in. During our time together on the Shiloh, Brent showed me what it is to be a chief. He taught me what it was to take care of sailors and to be there for fellow chiefs. If the Chief's Mess was a basketball team, Brent is not the guy who will score 30 points and give you 15 rebounds. Instead, Brent is the glue guy, the guy you know you cannot win without. Brent, whether you admit it or not, you were the MVP of Shiloh's Chief's Mess. If you're a shipmate or a friend of his, there's no doubt in your mind that there's nothing he wouldn't do for you at a moment's notice. While I would be struggling with Department LCPO, taskers from the CMC, and other duties with being a chief, I could always look forward to Brent having the hangover playing in the mess and lightening the mood. Although I never wondered until now how Brent was always able to be in the mess watching the hangover while the rest of us were working. But just seeing Brent would immediately lighten the mood. As I reflect on my time with Brent, I can say there were very few chiefs who genuinely cared about the well-being of sailors. Not just their own sailors, but all sailors as much as Brent. Brent is the chief who on the day of the command holiday party, dressed up in his favorite pair of Docker khaki pants, gray USS Shiloh t-shirt, and the ever-present windbreaker of doom. Brent rounded up all the newly reported sailors who were content to play video games on the mess decks and escorted them to the party, making them feel as though they had family, even though they were thousands of miles away from home. This is the level of caring about sailors that no initiation, transition, or induction can teach. Whether Brent was preparing for an ammo onload or offload, which he would always supervise in the magazines that held the most net explosives, never quitting until everything was secure for sea. If he was getting his division ready for inspection, while taking pride in his sailor's appearance, even if that meant his wearing his whites with black shoes to khaki color. Or when he was in Combat Information Center, coordinating helicopters, ensuring the right supplies were loaded for relief efforts during Operation Tomodachi. When he wasn't on duty, helping with shore patrol. When he was teaching his sailors how to play Texas Hold'em in the Seawood shop using nuts, washers, and whatever else was laying around as poker chips. Or when he would walk into the Chief's Mess with his dead-on impression of Ric Flair, having us all on the edge of our seats laughing. Or when he was on the mess decks, training the crew on everything from 3M to financial planning. Or lastly, out on Liberty, singing karaoke at a bar that no one else knew about, and ensuring we all got back to the ship after one of my best nights on Liberty. There was never a dull moment with Brent. Brent was the ultimate ambassador to any host nation we visited. He knew every spot to go for food and entertainment in every Liberty port, and while at home in Yokosuka, he was quite popular with the locals, knowing many and even exchanging gifts during the holidays. Brent was always quick with a smile, an encouraging word, the right advice, the right motivation, at the right time. Brent, up to now my remarks have been about you. Now I'd like to speak to you. Here are some words that come to mind when I think of you. Mentor, caring, approachable, dedicated, fun, loyal, and friend. You've taught many of us a great many things over the years about sailors and getting the most out of life. Most importantly, you taught us the importance of caring and making it fun for sailors. I know this is bittersweet for you. You will miss the Navy, you will miss the Chief's mess, your shipmates, and the camaraderie that comes from being a part of something special. But you will also take great pride and satisfaction in what you've done while you're in the Navy, and that will never leave you. Brent, as a teacher and mentor of sailors throughout your career, you have educated and professionally developed many sailors. One such example is me. Thank you for providing me with the rare and precious gift of being your main speaker. You have once again succeeded in teaching all those you have encountered. For all of us here, it is important to remember that going ashore today is a man, a sailor, who has had a tremendous impact on the lives of countless others, and in doing so, will continue to shape and influence our Navy for years to come. Thank you for all your years of dedicated and selfless service to our country and our Navy. We hope that good fortune will be your constant companion and that life will bring you nothing but the best in the years ahead. I will count myself as one of the lucky chiefs that has had the honor to serve alongside you and call you brother. I thank you, shipmate, and bid you fair winds and following seas.
Thank you, Master Chief Nulett. Lieutenant Holland will now present letters of appreciation to Chief Herron's parents. First, his mother, Mrs. Gail Hamilton. Certificate of Appreciation from the United States Navy. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. To Mrs. Gail Hamilton. Today, after completing 24 years of active naval service, your son has served his country honorably and faithfully, and his efforts are sincerely appreciated. Such a rich and rewarding career reflects a strong commitment to the principles of freedom and democracy, and the belief that they must be upheld at any cost. That type of total commitment is not possible without the full support of the entire family. Although you have never had to carry out a military order or deploy into hostile waters, your loyalty and steadfast support of his career can rightly be reviewed as service to your country. That loyalty and dedication provided strength to your son during arduous duty and exemplified the highest traditions of patriotism. On behalf of the Navy and the officers, the chiefs, and sailors of USS Carl Vinson, I extend to you a sincere thanks and expression and our appreciation for a job well done. Given this 26th day of October 2012, signed K.D. Whalen, Captain, United States Navy, Commanding Officer, USS Carl Vinson. Next, his father, Robert Herron, will receive the same certificate of appreciation. On behalf of the Navy and the officers, chiefs, and sailors of USS Carl Vinson, I extend to you a sincere thanks and express our appreciation for a job well done. Given this the 26th day of October 2012, signed K.D. Whalen, Captain, United States Navy, Commanding Officer, USS Carl Vinson. Chief Herron, front and center. Oh, sorry about that. He has got some gifts to give away. Apologies. Chief Herron, front and center. Lieutenant Howell will now present Chief Herron the Navy and Marine Corps Accommodation Medal. Will guests please rise? Military guests, attention to award. The President takes pleasure in rewarding the Navy Accommodation Medal to Chief Fire Controlman Technician, Surface Warfare, Brent Douglas Herron, United States Navy. Meritorious service while serving as Cableway Team Zone Manager and CS7 Division Chief Petty Officer, Combat Systems Department, on board USS Carl Vinson from July 2011 to December 2012. Chief Petty Officer Herron displayed exceptional leadership while managing all aspects of the planned incremental availability cableway repair team. With exceptional planning and proactive approach, directed his team of 18 technicians to mission success by completing over 1,300 cableway jobs and correcting over 420 Category 1 safety discrepancies. As CS7 Division CWIS Chief Petty Officer, his keen attention to detail and relentless perseverance were the driving force behind the early stages of the installation of 2 Phalanx close-in weapon systems on board USS Carl Vinson. His superlative achievements highlighted a 24-year career of loyal and faithful service to his country. Chief Petty Officer Herron's distinctive accomplishments, unrelenting perseverance, and steadfast devotion to duty reflected great credit upon himself and were keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Naval Service. This 26th day of October 2012, for the President, signed K.D. Whalen, Captain, United States Navy, Commanding Officer, USS Carl Vinson. Military guests, at ease. Lieutenant Holland will now present Chief Herron with the Presidential Certificate of Appreciation and the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy letter. Certificate of Appreciation for Service in the Armed Forces of the United States. To Chief Fire Controlman Technician, Surface Warfare, Brent Douglas Herron. I extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of a grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of military service. Your commitment and dedication have been an inspiration for those who will follow in your footsteps and for all Americans who join me today in saluting you for a job extremely well done. Best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. Signed, Barack Obama, Commander-in-Chief. Letter from the 13th Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, Mike Stevens. Chief Herron also received letters of congratulations and appreciation for service from Pat Quinn, Governor of Illinois, Richard Durbin, Illinois Senator, Mark Kirk, Illinois Senator, Andrew Cuomo, Governor of New York, Tim Bishop, Congressman, New York, 1st District. Chief Petty Officers Association, former Vice President, Senior Chief Duran, will now present Chief Herron his traditional retirement shadow box. Brent, your retirement shadow box is commemorative of your fine naval career. In it, your medals, warfare pin, ribbons, and history of assignments are safely contained to remind you of your loyal service to our country. In this shadow box is also the United States flag, which is symbolic of the nation you have faithfully served during your 24 years on active duty. Congratulations, shipmate. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our shipmate and our friend, Chief Petty Officer Brent Douglas Herron, United States Navy.
Please be seated. Thank you, Judy, Mr. Holland, Master Chief Newett. For the black shoes, I was just getting off watch. I had to switch over into the whites. They were sitting there, and I was in a rush trying to get up there on time. So yes, it's true. It did happen, but only for 30 seconds. Over the last 4 months, I've been thinking about this. I've written maybe 15 speeches. One was about 17 minutes long. One was just come up and say thank you. And I'm just gonna grab one of these at random. I'm just gonna wing it. Well, I had a huge list of people to thank. Of course, thank you to my family. Hold on, I'm about to cry. Give me a sec. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for showing up. I appreciate it. It's an honor to have you here. Thank you for everybody in the ceremony. Thank you for everybody who did their part. I came up with all kinds of things. I came up with funny lists. I had a really, really funny one. It wasn't very appropriate, but it was hilarious. And thank you to the color detail. My parents, past and present shipmates, people that work in the trailer, and we have somebody here that was stationed on this ship, and I'd like to recognize him really quick. If you could just stand up. Retired Master Chief David Fowler. He's the one that trained our team, the Cableway team, that I'm currently a part of right now. Thank you for attending. Basically, when I decided to join the military, I was in high school and I was not doing too well. And I figured that I could just join the military and work it out. Those of you who came in back in the day knew that the saying was all you have to do is show up on time, do a half job, and you can do 20 years. Well, that's not the case anymore. ERB and all that stuff, it's tough. In my time, I've had several sailors that didn't make it. I've had an EP sailor on the last ship that got ERB'd. I have a fellow chief that got ERB'd at 14 years. It's a lot different now. And when I came in, I think I was just going to join the military, but I was trying to think about what the military has meant to me. And Mike, those words were amazing. It made me look really good, thank you. So I was trying to think back about the first time when my view changed on the military, and it was actually in boot camp. I remember walking from a medical appointment. It was like my second week in boot camp. I was walking by myself, and you know, the company commanders, they've got the red badges and the gold badges, and I saw this admiral coming. He had a gold badge on, a big silver star, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna salute, right? That was my first memory of being proud of being in the uniform. It was actually only 2 weeks in the military. And I was walking up and getting ready, okay, at 10 paces, I'm gonna render the salute. I'm gonna say, good morning, sir. And I went and saluted. This is my actually first salute. Came up, bam, caught myself right in the eye. I said, good morning, sir, like that. And he rendered the salute back. He said, carry on, geek. And that is a true story. Remember, I was in boot camp, and I know I have a lot of sayings that people who know me, you know, one of my sayings is only boot camps tell boot camp stories. But this was it was actually a senior chief. It wasn't an admiral. But that was my first memory going back. I'm very nervous about setting this up today, and I've had a lot of help from a lot of people, and I'd really like to thank the person I went to the most, Rulon, and one day I'll get to that. So that was a joke. I had all kinds of stories prepared, you know, funny things that have happened, this and that. I've got like 16 years at sea, Bosnia, Somalia, all that stuff. Black Hawk Down for you young folk. We were a backup hospital ship for that event. The tsunami was pretty big. I've been one of my favorite parts of the military is meeting new people and experiencing other cultures. I've been to 37 countries in 24 years, and I have been a part of maybe 25, 30 comrails. A couple of them I set up, most in Malaysia, Philippines, that sort of area. People ask me all the time, you know, what's my favorite place that I've been to, and I said, well, that depends what you're talking about. But the most beautiful place I've ever been to is Spain. I'm going to miss all those things. I came up with a list of things I didn't like about the Navy, and I came up with a list on a different day of things I'm going to miss about the Navy, and the three things that I didn't like about the Navy, those were the things I was going to miss. So that just shows that I've had hard times, I've had tough times, I've had good times, and I'm going to miss it all. When I was a second class, I'll start off right in the beginning. I got to my first ship, and I think some rates are a little better at taking care of their folk. I kind of got my mentoring attitude, sailorization attitude from my first LPO. His name was Wayne Cooper. And when I was a second class on the same ship, I remember I was out needle gunning the deck, because that's what junior people do. And we had this BMCS. He was a little guy, not very loud, but when he walked around, he carried the respect that you see in movies, you know, the way a chief carries himself and handles himself. And I remember he came out in the forecastle, and he walked in, and the senior BM on deck went up and said, "Senior Chief, what can we do for you?" You know, and that's when I realized that, you know, I want to be a Chief Petty Officer. I made Chief in 2005, and it was my proudest moment in the military. And since I've been in the mess, it's been a family to me. And I just wanted to say that I appreciate everybody I've served with, past and present. Thanks for the chiefs that came out and retired chiefs. And that's all I have. Thank you for coming out.
We will now present Chief Heron the United States flag. Flag detail. Attention.
I am the flag of the United States of America. My name is Old Glory. I fly atop of the world's tallest buildings. I stand watch in Americans' halls of justice. I fly majestically over great institutions of learning. I stand guard with the greatest military powers in the world. Look up and see me. I stand for peace, honor, truth, and justice. I stand for freedom. I am confident. I am arrogant. I am proud. When I am flown with my fellow banners, my head is a little higher, my colors a little brighter. I bow to no one. I am recognized all over the world. I am worshipped. I am saluted. I am respected. I am revered. I am loved. And I am feared. I have fought in every war, in every battle of every war for more than 200 years. Gettysburg, Shiloh, Appomattox, San Juan Hill, the trenches of France, the Argonne Forest, Anzio, Rome, the beaches of Normandy, Guam, Okinawa, Tarawa, Korea, Vietnam, the Persian Gulf, and scores of other places long forgotten by all, except for those who were there with me. I was there. I led my sailors and Marines. I followed them. I watched over them. They loved me. I was on a small hill on Iwo Jima. I was dirty, battle-torn, and tired. But my sailors and Marines cheered me on. I was proud. I was at Ground Zero in New York City on September 11th as cowardly fanatics attacked America. As I was raised from the ashes of once proud buildings by brave firefighters, heroes who risked their lives to save others, showing all that America, although blooded, will never be beaten. Those who would destroy me cannot win, for I am the symbol of freedom. Of one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have been soiled, burned, toiled, and trampled on the streets of my own country. And when it is done by those I have served and battled with, it hurts. But I shall overcome, for I am strong. I have slipped the chilly bonds of earth, and from the vantage point on the moon, I stand watch over uncharted new frontiers of space. I have been the silent witness to all of America's finest hours. But my finest hour comes when I am torn into strips to be used as bandages for my wounded comrades on the field of battle. When I fly half-mast to honor my sailors and soldiers, and when I lie in the trembling arms of a grieving mother at a gravesite of her fallen son or daughter, I am proud. My name is Old Glory. Long may I wave, dear God, long may I wave.
Thank you, Senior Chief Martin. Some pretty good choreography there.
All right, mateys. For 24 years, this sailor has stood the watch. While some of us were in our racks at night, this sailor stood the watch. While some of us were in school learning our trade, this sailor stood the watch. Yes, even before some of us were born into this world, this sailor stood the watch. In those years, when the storm clouds of war were brewing on the horizon of history, this sailor stood the watch. He stood the watch for 24 years. He stood the watch so that we, our families, our fellow countrymen, could sleep soundly at night. This sailor stood the watch. Today we are here to say, shipmate, the watch stands relieved. Relieved by those you have trained, guided, and led. Shipmate, you stand relieved. We have the watch.
Thank you, Chief McQuitty. Senior Chief Duran will now offer the benediction.
Please rise. Let us bow our heads in prayer. As we go forward in our lives, careers, and our walk with you, we ask that your hand be upon Brent, his family, and all those that have had and will have the blessing of his companionship and his leadership. No one ever said that this journey would be easy, but you have and will continue to carry our burdens, and through our faith, you have given us hope for the future. Only you, Lord, are worthy of our praise, and we give you praise this morning for your faithfulness to one of your very own. Grace and mercy be with him and his family all the days of their lives. Thank you for this day and giving us this reminder so that we never forget our calling and our duty to this wonderful nation you have so perfectly molded in your infinite wisdom. In your most precious name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Senior Chief. Side boys, post. Bosun, stand by to pipe the side. Shipmate going ashore. Will military members in uniform please stand for the remainder of the ceremony? Lieutenant Holland will now present Chief Heron their certificate for the Fleet Reserve. This is to certify that Chief Fire Controlman Surface Warfare Brent Douglas Heron was transferred from active duty to the Fleet Reserve of the United States Navy on the 31st day of December 2012 after 24 years of service. This certificate is awarded as a testimonial of faithful and honorable service. Signed, K.D. Whalen, Captain, United States Navy, Commanding Officer, USS Carl Vinson. In keeping with over 200 years of naval tradition, Chief Heron will now request permission to go ashore for the last time.
Mr. Holland, let's push you go ashore.
Chief Petty Officer Brent Douglas Heron, United States Navy, retired, departing. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the retirement ceremony. On behalf of Chief Herron and his family, we want to thank you for taking part in this time-honored ceremony. You are all invited to line up and congratulate Chief Herron on his retirement. Cake and ice cream is available. Thank you.